We're glad to have you back on the AM show. And from here, we talk about that feat attained by the University of Cape Coast, which has been adjudged the best university in Ghana and in West Africa. And that's according to the 2024 Times Higher Education World University Rankings. In 2022 and 2023, the university earned the bragging rights as the best in Ghana, the best in Africa, and the best in West Africa, and the fourth best in Africa, and the best university globally for research influence. Our friends in UCC never let us sleep over that. And then in 2024's rankings, released just days ago, many more things to celebrate. The university has still ranked as number one in Ghana, number one in West Africa, but slipped marginally from 4th position to the 7th position in Africa. That's actually on the back of the different dynamics at play in this recent study or survey or ranking. Well, we have joining us in the studio the director of the Directorate of Research, Innovation and Consultancy at the University of Cape Coast, Professor David Teidoku, together with his deputy, Dr. Branford Bevel, who is also a director at that same institution, to look at what really goes into these rankings and what the rankings mean for universities in Ghana, West Africa, and the continent of Africa. Prof, Doc, a very good morning to you. Thank you for joining the conversation.
Morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
You see, thanks to the good work you're doing, the very good work you're doing, our colleagues who are graduates of UCC will not allow those of us who attended Legon to sleep. That's the only bad side. You are creating some trouble for us, though in other rankings, we'll also do our own bit. But this is something fantastic to celebrate. Prof, I'll start with you. What goes into these rankings? How are the assessments made?
Great. Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be here. There are many rankings in the world. We have a number of them that we can say they are prestigious because of the indicators that are used, which actually cover the core things that any university is supposed to do. You know, as a university, our three main areas are research, teaching, and then outreach, or what we call community service. So the rankings actually measure how well any university is doing around these areas. So the Times Higher Education World University Rankings measures actually how a research-intensive university is performing in all of these three areas that I've talked about.
So that's interesting because we know that research is one of your fortes, one of your strengths, and that has propelled you to the heights that we're seeing now. But what is this World University Ranking all about? I mean, which institutions are ranked and all of that? Doc, can you share a bit with us?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. Let me send our greetings to the Vice Chancellor, Professor Johnson Yakubu, and then the entire UCC management, our staff, and then wonderful students, and the good people of Cape Coast. Yeah, Times Higher Education World University Rankings. I would say that THEWR has consciously and consistently maintained a metamorphosed in terms of methodological robustness over the years. Why am I saying this? If I take you down memory lane, starting from 2004, when they released their rankings, it was based on 6 indicators that was calibrated around 5 pillars. And then in the 2010, they still did some robustness in the methodology and then came to 13 indicators hinged upon 5 pillars. Now, 2014, they again metamorphosed in terms of their methodology and then brought a new methodology called the THEWR 3.0, which has 18 indicators calibrated around 5 pillars.
So I assume over the years it's become even the competition has become even stiffer.
Exactly.
And it's more difficult to meet the benchmarks.
Yeah, because they always respond to criticisms and then improve upon the methodology. So we are having a well-balanced, uniform, holistic, stringent methodology, but also fair, because it cuts across all the facets of what the university should do: teaching and learning, research output, research quality, industry, income, international outlook. These 5 are good pillars, what the THE is all about. But let me say that, like my director said, You have the Quacquarelli-Symonds ranking. You have the U.S. News and Report ranking. You have the Shanghai rankings. But then within the sphere of academia, the prestigious one is the THEWR, and it's all over the world. It began in the UK, way back, started as a modest form of ranking for UK universities, but has grown to be this giant in terms of global rankings, and it is well recognized around the globe. So when you are ranked by this institution, and it's not mean an achievement.
It's interesting you started off from there. Very quickly, how many Ghanaian universities were ranked?
Yeah, currently we had 4.
4 of them.
4, yeah. UCC, University of Ghana, and then Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and then University for Development Studies, UDS.
I see. That's quite an achievement for all of these institutions, making the cut. But what then would you say is the requirement? He's mentioned some criteria. Yeah. What does it take for a university to be ranked, to be even considered to be on this this ranking? Yeah.
So as Dr. Bebe rightly said, the THE is one of the most stringent ranking, because even to be qualified for the ranking, you have to meet certain criteria. One of them is that you should have a minimum of 1,000 relevant publications, and the relevant with emphasis. Relevant means that those publications should be indexed in what they call Scopus database. What is Scopus database? Scopus database is a database that houses journals that have met a certain minimum quality threshold. So what we do as academic staff, we publish our output in the journal, and the journal should be peer reviewed with high quality, because our work is used for decision making. So we ensure that there is a peer review mechanism that ensures that whatever comes out there is of high quality. So thousands of such publications should be in that outlet within the past 5 years. In addition to that, in each year, there should be a minimum of 150. So a university cannot just wait and in the next 3 years have 1,000. No, there should be 150. That's consistency over that. And then the university should also run.
So this is something you keep your eye on.
Yes,
you should deliberately keep your eye on it to ensure that you meet that benchmark.
Right. And the university should also be a comprehensive university, sort of. So, for example, you cannot be narrow in just one subject area. It should be a little bit. You should have undergraduate students. And then there are a few, you should submit data. So this is not like you'll be there and you'll be ranked like the other ranking agencies. You should apply for and submit data, show you have met this criteria, and you go into the system and submit data. There are data points that they get themselves that you don't have control. You don't have to. But there are things like the number of staff, the number of students, and so on and so forth that you need to submit. How many females there are, how many males there are in the, how many international students, international staff that you submit. So it's quite a very stringent criteria. That is why many universities are not able to qualify to be ranked in these days. It took UCC a while. It was only in 2021, thereabout, that we managed to meet the criteria to be ranked. And as we speak now, he mentioned that there are 4 Ghanaian universities that have been ranked, but actually 8 universities submitted data, even though they met the criteria. The 4 others did not make the cut. Yes, they didn't make the. They met the criteria to submit the data, but they didn't meet the criteria to be ranked. So what it means is that on some of the pillars that they've used, you cannot have more than 0 on 2 or 3 of them. Right. So they didn't mean that.
So this is competitive. It's very stringent.
Competitive.
But are there advantages to being ranked? What does this mean for the global image, for example, of UCC with this performance? What does it mean?
Thank you very much. Let me just, as a sequel to what my professor said, let me add to this. This year, they had data submitted from more than 2,900 institutions across 108 countries globally, and only 1,904 institutions qualified to be ranked. So you can see they have inclusion and exclusion criteria. If you don't meet it, then you are just deemed as a reporter.
Someone will say elimination by
that's the point. So to qualify in itself is an achievement. Yeah. So talking about the affordances of this ranking, we can categorize them to the institution itself, to the staff and students, to the town, Cape Coast itself, to Ghana. So if we should bring it down, then to the institution, what does it bring to the institution? The institution already has its vision to be a worldwide acclaimed university. Now, what it means is that once you are highly ranked, you rub shoulders with contemporaries out there in the global scene. Let's say somebody lands in Ghana and wants an institution that is highly ranked to partner with for project, partner with for staff exchange, student exchange and mobility issues. Definitely the person works here and then will come straight to UCC. Assuming you have funders who have funding for a project in education, they want institutions that have been ranked highly in Times Higher Education World University Rankings to partner with to execute an education program. They will work to UCC. In Ghana, if you are looking at institutions of merit and reputation, and you have your universities being ranked in the Times Higher Education, then you are on top. You are recognized, because here not only in Ghana, but also in West Africa and then in Africa. So it puts Ghana on the world scene in terms of tertiary education delivery. It puts Ghana on the world map. So if we are having most all the universities, I hope you will come to that question, almost all the universities within the country being ranked highly by THEW, then Ghana will be a wonderful place.
So the profile of the country in terms of tertiary education will necessarily go up.
Yeah.
What is UCC's story, though? Because you just mentioned it took you a long time to even make the cut, 2021. But since that time, you've never looked back.
Yeah.
What has led to this? It didn't just happen. So how did you get here?
Yeah. So there were a lot of things that we put in place around 2016. We decided to build the capacity of our staff in the area of research and engage them to let their output go to credible outlets, their scholarly output to credible outlets. So we're engaging them. They were publishing in Scopus Index Journal, in journals that are indexed with Web of Science and all that. So that has been very important. As we speak now, we do a lot of staff capacity training for our faculty across the board, and we are encouraging them that as a scholar, you have to look beyond this country. You have to let your output be somewhere there that is recognized. So that is one of the actions that we have taken. Our management also provides some kind of seed money to support us in our research endeavor. Okay. As small as it may be, it helps. It helps us to test the proof of concept on most of our things, and that we can leverage on that to be able to bid for bigger grants out there. So that is also one thing that we've been doing. So there have been a lot of preparation. And I should add to what he has said about the advantages of being ranked. Yeah. So if people want to choose university, it could be within Africa, they will be looking at the top universities. And no wonder our South African universities have a lot of international students because people want to go there, they rank highly. It is also a decision-making tool. Yeah, I know some of our collaborators, I only call them competitors, collaborators in Ghana. They set up committees and bodies to look at how they can work towards this ranking so that they can rank well. That is very good. So it's a kind of diagnostic tool.
Obviously, no one is sitting on their ours. Everyone is trying to get better.
But which is a good thing. If the ranking is not there, you wouldn't. Some of those decisions wouldn't have been made. So you look at yourself. Even we who have been ranked, we look at which of the pillars do we need to double our effort. So in a way, it's very good. It helps every university to look at what they are doing, take stock, and say, okay, probably we are very good here, but let's look at the other areas.
Quick follow-up on this next bit, very quickly. So for those universities that are struggling to make the cut, or for those who are even in here but are pretty low, what do they do?
Yes,
what are the...
for some, for some of them, they are pretty young university. I have to single out one like UHAS. UHAS is doing so well.
The University
but
for Health and
Allied Sciences is doing so well, but they are pretty new, so it will take a little while to be able to. I think even last year they were reported, so they met the criteria, but it will take a while.
But even the publications, like the 1,500,
yes,
it means that it will take time before they
met that actually.
Oh,
because last
did?
year they were reported, so they might have met that, but it will take a while to be able to score well on some of the pillars. And I think for them also the issue about the subject diversity, because it's purely health, so they need to diversify a little bit, then they can be able to get into that. There are, for other universities, they have to double their efforts. They have to double their effort. They have to encourage staff to publish in credible outlets. They have to support staff research, and all that.
Doc, so coming to you to wrap up before we take the final comments from both of you. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
To the University of Cape Coast. We may do our little beefing internally, but we're always proud when something Ghanaian is making strides and going out there. So we share in your pride.
Yeah.
Where does the UCC go from here? Obviously, you're not thinking of, we're here. So at least you're thinking of taking over Africa and maybe even becoming much better in the ranking. Where next? How do you sustain this?
Thank you very much for the question. I think that if you check the Scopus database, you will see consistency in trend. Since 2019, we have not rested on our hours. Scopus output has been increasing steadily from then to up to today. We are now looking at the 2023 year, how the output will also be like, because it has always increased. Output commensurating with the citations. So it is not really a fluke. The records are there to show how we are progressing. In fact, we will continue to do what we are doing best. That's what I would say. Because at times you may also have to not roll out everything like that.
You want to keep your trade secrets close to your chest.
So you continue to do what you are doing best. Right. As we always say, a university is born out of research, teaching, and outreach services. So if a university is committed to these tripartite activities, then obviously the university will progress. Okay. But then consciousness is also needed, like our prof said, consciousness is needed. Where are your faculty publishing? They may be doing some very good works, but they may be throwing them into predatory journals, which don't count in the Scopus database. And this has been one of the detrimental issues for most universities, the consciousness to put their papers in credible.
That's something that must be looked at.
Yeah, very, very important.
Just final words in some 10 seconds, if you can. Cape Coast, University of Cape Coast alumni, and others making all of this possible. Final words from you, Prof, from you, Doc, in some 10 to 15
we are most grateful to our stakeholders, the council, our chancellor, Dr. Sir Sam Jonah, and the University Council led by, now it's dissolved, so, but the university management, Vice Chancellor and his team, and all staff, alumni, students, everyone, all stakeholders have contributed in diverse ways to this ranking, and we are counting on them to continue to support the university in many ways, so we can continue on this
project. Doc? Yeah, thank you very much. I think for our students, they should be proud, they should hold their heads high, they should know that the certificates are credible. Employers will be looking out for them because we are a top-notch university. For alumnus and alumni, the same. Wherever they are, their heads are high. In their workplaces, they are excited that they have attended a very good university. Our students will also have this motivation that since their certificates are recognized, they are able to annex scholarships and also have access to international education because of the credibility of the certificate based on the rankings of the university. But let me say that these rankings have implications for Ministry of Education and GTech. As we said earlier on, the national picture, they need to put a strong foot out there. So what can we do as a ministry? What can we do as GTech to help mobilize Ghanaian universities to be able to
get there?
do
Right.
well in this ranking for the sake of the prestige of the university and the tertiary education that the university churns out.
That's a crucial point you've
Yeah.
made at the end, and I'm glad you've made it. Those who join us for this all-important conversation, we had in the studio Professor David Teidoku. He is Director of Research, Innovation, and is it consultancy? Consultancy at the University of Cape Coast, and also Dr. Branford Bevel, the Deputy Director of that same institution at the University of Cape Coast. They've joined us. Cape Coast University, first in Ghana, first in West Africa, 7th in Africa. They can only go higher, and we're proud of them as well. Well, stay tuned, because coming up next, we'll be telling you about an NGO formed in 2016, and they are innovating as well. They are helping build that groundswell of information technology, especially among young, underprivileged youth in Ghana and beyond. It's the best of two worlds. You want to know more? Maxim Nyansa, that conversation up next on the AM Show.